are like heavily in production now, but the people in this room are very, very excited to learn even more from you. And the rest of the other teams will kind of catch up with the recorded version, you know.
Sure.
So yeah, you want to share with them what's up for everyone today first?
Yeah. And basically today we will like continue a bit about augmented reality, both from like theory, and then we will do a workshop that will allow you to do like augmented reality on the web without just using some basic like coding things, but like really basic. You will literally have just like to switch some elements that you maybe create, like 3D assets or pictures or GIFs or text. And it's nice also because actually you can also do a kind of a 360 environment that you can explore with the mobile, just like turning on. And all these environments can be integrated in the website. So it's something that in the end you can also put it in the website and it will like work properly just with a mobile, and it's kind of interactive and fun. So I also saw that you did like with Stefano, like a Mozilla, but it is more like for kind of participative with people and interaction. This is kind of similar in approach, which is nice also for you, but it's kind of completing some other aspects. So if you want to have a thing more on your own, or you want to have augmented reality on the phone, it will allow you like to just choose whatever you like more. And yeah, this let's see here. I would like to start maybe with a bit also of kind of theory, and also to show you some interesting stuff that are done in AR. Share screen.
And you want to see also their face filter?
Yeah. I asked before. Yeah. Do you have it now? Like for showing something?
I have it. It's not that exciting.
Yeah,
But I have it up.
I really want to see it. Yeah.
How do I do this? Do I?
I think you can just share the screen. And one thing, maybe when you go on Spark AR, if it's from there, just don't allow the camera there and use one of the presets of the heads that are in the presets.
Will it not work with the camera?
Yeah, but maybe you will go off Zoom.
Okay, hold on.
I mean, we can still hear your voice. So actually, I mean, how do you prefer?
I'll just try it like this and we'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, that was the wrong one. Boom. Can you see me?
Yeah. There is also animation. Super nice.
Yeah, but I had some issues with the the money. Oh, it's going so slow.
Maybe it's because of it's kind of maybe heavy. The single PNG, maybe you can, or a JPEG, you can just scale it down and make it like a super low quality, because in the end it will, I mean, it's kind of the same for the filters, the quality, and it should go like faster than usually. I like it.
I think Zoom is like slowing it down a little bit too now.
Very good. Yay, money.
And you know that actually they had done a thing that it's more easy to upload things online. So I think it will be just submit.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, like how long it takes to upload something, but I googled and it said that it could take like a couple of days to a week, but you said something about maybe 2 weeks if it's like a season where people upload more.
Yeah, it was like during Christmas time. So it's
good to know.
Yeah. I think
what was the letters? ODC.
No, oh, ODZ. It's like it's a Swedish rap group.
Very well. Awesome job.
Yeah. So you liked also the the animation and this kind of it's good because it's not just static. It kind of gives you a sense of constant flow, no, of a moment that it's also time that it's passing. Cool. Yeah, I'm super glad. I just tried to give you like in the asset a bit of everything, and then yeah, the other elements are pretty. I mean, you just have to choose like to switch from I don't know like one face feature or stuff, and then into the other. But it's kind of everything is there, so it's good. That's the part that I really like from Spark AR. It's more kind of you think like creatively, and the software is there to help you, which is like good and not always happening. And that someone else has also a filter or something that even like started.
I wasn't here last workshop, but I've been playing around on Spark before.
Okay.
So I have something, I'm not sure what really, but I can try.
Yeah.
I can try to find. I remember I did something for my ex with like all the things she liked, but I can't find that one. So I found another one. Okay, this one is cool. How do I put like my face?
A small camera that it's on the left, and just choose like a HD camera. If you're from a laptop.
Yes. Oh, I found.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't. Maybe I can like share my screen and try to find it. Wait.
Yeah.
Because it's like the default person. You see that?
Ah, yeah. It's working.
But I don't know how to put it like on my face.
You look here on the left. Just go a bit more on the left, and there is like a camera after up the pose sign. Yeah, exactly. You know, an integrated camera.
Yes.
It should go. Yeah.
Like it was a long time ago, so I don't remember too much.
Maybe it's creating problems with the camera, but yeah.
Okay,
anyway, to see the people and.
Well, it was like that.
Yeah, it's nice. You worked mainly with Photoshop and with the layers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The idea. Sorry.
You were drawing as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was like I have a cousin who loves donuts, and he always goes around and he says, "I like donuts," because he speaks Spanish, so like donuts for him sound like donuts. So now we say donas. So that's why it says, "I like donuts."
It's nice, and this is a good example that like with that you can also like pass through a more like analogic format, so you can draw whatever you want, also hand-free. Because last time, you know, at the workshop, I had to show a cursor with a lot of digital or already taken materials, but actually all these things and filters have also like gives us this freedom of just using as well our produced contents from drawings to anything. So also this aspect, it's kind of integrating the analog. Yeah, it should have been put like as a suggestion. So let's see here how to. I'll share my screen, and then I'll go into. Last time we were seeing a bit more of a like kind of a augmented reality and the characters, the people like digital avatars, and everything that it's more kind of like first person and body related. So it was, we centered about all the theme about how we can experience augmented reality with our bodies or other people. So to make them like fictional characters, or to add them in features, or to do some kind of work on the body that was going like away from reality, in a sense more of like narrative, a fiction, or something that it's aesthetically totally interesting kind of to see and to experience. And today we are moving from the body and from the person, and we are concentrating more on how augmented reality can be used with the spaces and with objects, and how, like in the environment, we can create stories or show things.
Maybe you can press present or play so that your slide get full screen.
Yeah, I will now. Okay. Because last time we were seeing a bit what was actually augmented reality storytelling, and I want to just like to come again from this point just to continue what we have been saying. So we thought that it was a bridge between real world and digital one. So it's in a sense, it's a kind of a window that it's connecting us like with the digital, but it's however really rooted in reality, in the physical, that we must acknowledge every time that we are still in the physical when doing something in augmented reality. And this is also kind of nice important part, for example, in storytelling and augmented, that we can do a lot of fictional things, but as well we have another like already done setting that is our reality, that we can relate to for bringing the stories on, or just starting stories, or just morphing reality in a fictional way that we want. So we have a first base layers, the physical one we start from, and there is this spatial relationship that we must also acknowledge, and it's very used as well in the sense of tracking. We will see what does it mean. Also, when you will have face, for example, with face filter, it's kind of more easy, because you have to have like a face or a person in front of you. But some experiences, augmented reality, you can as well have with already decided places where you put your object, or you put something like in space. There are very interesting, for example, projects that have been done that are history based or urban based. So, for example, for instance, if you work in a city environment, you can use like augmented information to show something that happened a long time ago, or that it can look in the future. So it can be also like, you know, more fictional, so going into the future. During because I'm living in Berlin, and last year it was like 30 years from the wall fall. There was a very nice project done by a friend of mine who actually they were, I mean, a super big team, and they worked a lot. But they went all around the city, and especially on the wall line, and did this app which was allowing people once downloaded, to see in augmented reality all the old pictures from the places the world there is no more, or maybe there are just some few left parts. But how it was, for example, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, during the fall, so during the kind of the revolution. So it was kind of interesting to leave the city, but being in exactly in that place, you know, it's not like sitting home and just like reading books. It's just experiencing in the same exact point how something looked like, perceiving the aspects also of reality of the air, of the maybe the mood of the day or the people passing, and then you see also the differences among people, and it's kind of you kind of feel the switch of time and like the passing of the time, that is definitely also on an emotional level more impactful. So telling a story in this interactive way, in this augmented way, but also physically situated way, it's a new way that we now with these new technologies are able to do. So it's kind of also like more we're empowered by them in the narrative aspects. And of course, like AR, it's also used a lot for showing informations, or used kind of, I don't know, I have to tell, like everything from the new technologies can be traced back in the past, and you can see something that was, for example, looking similar, but it was done in a different way, but had very similar purpose, for example. And if we think about the buildings with all the, I don't know, if we think about yeah, like skyscrapers with the big advertisements of them. Actually, this was the first, not first, I mean, more contemporary, but a good example of how information and images and videos were in a way layered upon physical already exist, like places and urban streets, showing something totally like different. And just like in a lot of cities you have these constant layering of between informations, between flashing of images and videos, slides, and it's something that is on top of our buildings, you know, it's on top, and it's digital. This being on top of some of the reality, it's augmented, if you follow me. So actually this need of augmenting our reality was already existing, and the more we think, the more we can find the similar examples that sometimes are always so like nice to be used as the references. And what it's more magic now for sure is, for example, if you have this kind of environment where these have, I mean, you're in the middle of Times Square, or in like Japan, or like any way you can think, like with really huge kind of architecture building with a lot of advertisement. The only difference is that here you cannot turn off this information. So it's something that it's there and it's been integrated in the environment. With augmented, we can, and this is our magical touch that we add. It's something that we are able to also turn off, or also to show as a hidden thing that not everybody knows is there. So there is like this not permanence of augmented reality, that it's for sure something also emotionally really appealing, and magic in a way of perceiving. as also virtual reality, as well augmented reality. And I'm telling you because you have been doing as well the workshop with the virtual reality and a bit of social interaction. And it's nice to see that we are going in this social direction, but in a way that it's more interesting and more creative than just like the social, what are the social now. I mean, it's kind of questionable how healthy they are and all the amounts of problem they showed during the time. While all these technologies like virtual and augmented, they allow a social interaction that it's more prone to a creative interaction, where people are gathering together, but maybe to create a story or to change something like in the environment, or to live an experience, the direction is way more creative, and it's something that it's also nice to have to see, because also the level of sharing, of empathy, of feeling between people, it's more into connection than just into showing and sharing. It's just more like connected. They have been developing like a lot of AR projects, especially for kind of kids. I want to show you this one, which are nice, which are super nice. I mean, in the sense the target now here, for example, are the kids, because I mean, also augmented reality is part of industry. But we don't care about that. We care about how we can use it, and to know like the potentials that today are stored in this technology. This one was a nice example. It had also the amazing reviews on Vogue, Fast Company, New York Times, VR Scout. It's mainly for kids, but it's kind of allowing just to build fairy tales and like narrative stories with an iPad screen.
I can only see the presentation still.
Yeah, I think you've only shared the screen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this one.
I think you need.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder scope. Oh, good, you're here. We better get going now. Grandma has a lot of seeds for us to plant. Can I touch it? That's cool. What do you think, Flaw?
What you got there?
I'll get crushed to death by the thousands of tons of water
Oh, look at that.
that's crashing down below me.
Is that a good idea at your age? Age ain't nothing but a number. Here we go. Time to blow away some wrinkles.
Wow.
Wait, Grandma, I don't even know where I am. No, Red, don't go away.
There she is. Look at her.
We did it.
Yeah, this one was developed like mainly for that target, but as I said, it's kind of interesting to see how actually we can we can make our environments and our interaction with the others also more like situated, and we can share knowledge as well as we can share like experiences, and educational aspects are definitely here very important. I had also other examples that it's from this guy. He's I think one of the best artists for augmented reality. I mean, he's as well kind of a coder. So of course he's making super cutting edge things. You can search for Zach Lieberman, and what is very interesting in his works is the fact that he's very often he's very often interacting like with the exterior like environment, but in a way that, for example, what you see in the end, you can also, for example, hear. So he does imagining having like a sound on your telephone, and then moving the sound is showing like the waveform, and in the end you're like when you turn around, you have built around you with augmented reality kind of a sculpture that when you go back with the telephone you can hear again the sound and like scratch it. And it's I think it was in the older project, but all the new have as well like some of the kind of approaches that are how he perceives reality, and in the way like he is treating these interactive and augmented elements. It's pretty interesting. It's a lot explorative and research, but you can really feel like the full potentials of a medium that maybe now it's somehow standardized, but we definitely have also to envision some things. So we are not coders, so for us, for example, it's more difficult maybe to do a sound sculpture in augmented reality and then to follow it and place it in our room. But it's something that as Spark AR has done and other platforms as well, it will be possible like to do in the future. So thinking also in terms of sounds, in terms of augmented sounds, and of visual representations of things around us, it's a good direction to follow. Let's go back here. We will talk about a lot about tracking. We have seen already with Spark AR what is like a face tracking, and it's more kind of a face recognition first, and then face like tracking. You will find tracking every time you're dealing with 3D and 3D objects, 3D environments. And it's based upon kind of turning the 2D into 3D, and like the contrary, in the sense that when we have, for example, just a video, we can do a tracking on this video and simulate, for example, a physical movement that it's simulating actually a physical movement in the space, because the video is 2D, but the perception of that, and finally, it has to be as it's happening for real in that video, in the reality. So the tracking, it's kind of allowing us to simulate the 3D reality we are in, but on our screens. And as we did with the face tracking, so that on our 2D camera, everything went like really like as we had like on the sides of our face, or on it was following also the Z depth position. The same thing and the same technology operation, it's used when you're dealing with 3D objects in the space. And I really liked this kind of this image because it's simple in showing how, for example, when we have our camera and we have a 3D object in an environment, we can, for example, follow thanks to the recognition of the camera of, for example, angles or planes or faces, as we have seen, the object, and moving and to start like moving them as they were like for real in the place. And this is also now a lot thanks to machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms that lay behind this kind of recognition. What is kind of it's mandatory to know is that when we have augmented reality, and if we have to do like an experience or a story, we have to think about if we want, for example, to position our object in space or to let it move freely. It's something that it's depending not just aesthetically, some of the times it is as well like just an aesthetical decision, but sometimes it's also like a narrative decision. So if I had, for example, to show like the Berlin Wall, how it was 30 years ago, and a picture on a building that was destroyed and how it looked like before the war, I will for sure put a static object when working. I will not opt for emotion. It will not make sense. While, for example, if I have to add elements that are not narratively necessary, or are just maybe guides that you have to follow, for instance, or that are just emotionally, for example, I don't know, a storm of a lot of birds just like flying and disappearing, that can like add to an emotional impact to the augmented reality, but they are not necessary for my like historical showing of the place of the wall. But I can add as well like this motion element just to make even more kind of emotional the experience. So we must also think in terms of what are now our elements in augmented reality and how we deal with them and why. So motion, it's for sure one of the clue points, and it's also how we will see in the workshop, like that we can choose between animation, and we choose like between placing an object in a particular like point, or just letting it freely moving around, like which is more like prone for characters, or for, as we saw, like with a more fictional and narrative experience. Yeah, here I chose, for example, like there was this bridge that was made, and it was in a room. So it was tracking the room also properly, because there is a couch here. So if you go, if you do like an augmented experience and you don't track properly the environment you're in, I mean, you can hurt yourself, or just because maybe you're watching the phone and you continue walking. So we must also pay attention when you are prototyping that for example, bigger things that are involving more motion, they also have to be more precise in the sense that we are not gonna make something, for example, too far from us that, and probably a common room is like kind of shorter or like smaller. But when we deal like with a precise environment, we can go just like crazy as much as we want, because then we're dealing with more fixed coordinates and we have much more freedom. So the experience is as well more like immersive. But yeah, we have to pay attention to these details. So if you're, for example, prototyping something in a more social space or with more people or stuff like that, it's better like to put in a precise position, and maybe something that can be approached and explored, but that it's not going into our visual like field. As for example, this bridge, it's kind of covering what we are seeing kind of way too much. And yeah, this was an example for the floating objects and like in animating. Yeah, here for exploring the planets and the galaxies, it's a perfect, it's a kind of, yeah, a perfect example. So it depends also of a context you're working in, and like what actually do you have to do. So if it's more like layering and adding information, for example, you have there was a lot of projects done in the museums with the augmented reality, where you had like the kids had to put the iPad or the phone in front of a painting, and with augmented reality it was telling them what technique was that. For example, Van Gogh was showing, like, showed it is how it was done, the painting with like all the movements, the color chromatics, and like analyzing and in a kind of layering all the information from this painting, but making them available for the children to understand one by one. And so they could see, for example, how he started like layering the colors. So from a sketch, and so progress in time, like a narrative progress in time, and plus informational layer that you can always add like text. It's an information, or you can add text for a direction and stuff like that. Is exploration, it's another point for environments in particular, like imagine also like a room or an urban environment, and you have objects around you, and these objects can be like a playful point where people could acknowledge something more, because if they point their camera on the phone towards that object, something is like popping up and it's showing them maybe further instructions, like do that now, do these other things. So it can be also become like a game. And there were like some urban-based games where people were putting these small characters, and so you have like a map to follow who is leading from one point to another. And yeah, in the end you had lived the entire experience just using augmented reality and your city. And it's also a pretty nice way to explore, or to like in a narrative way, like use the technology. Of course, everybody remembers the Pokemons and all the crazy stuff like that was going on in that period. with people just going in forbidden places or just like private houses and like all the like in like car crashes incidents that were made because of the last Pokemon spotted somewhere. And these were more kind of urban and interaction like way of doing augmented storytelling. But it was I mean it was a good social experiment as well. So it was really properly working as people was kind of really involved in that sense. And as far as it concerns the augmented content, let's call it that way, and because also we have to create content in the end, no? And we must acknowledge that how we have to manage this content. And this is also why I called like and this all this workshop tales, territories, and strategies, because in the first part last time we saw a lot of digital avatars and like the protagonists of our tales and narration. And today we're exploring more the context and like the physical part, which is the territory, and the strategies. It's basically how we manage like our content, and in order to create an augmented experience which also makes sense for the narration. What is for sure very important is to have like a layering of information that can be understood, so that we are not placing stuff just like to place it and to make something popping up. Sometimes it's fine also like that, but usually it's good to have also all the kind of basic approach that we have also in graphics, like for legibility, or like to understand easily what it's written or what it, unless we want it to be explored, because then we will remember it more. So if it's like small text that it's not important, it's more kind of a direction or information, like put it super legible. If it's a text that it has to have emotional impact, and that's why we are doing in virtual reality, then it also can be like not legible. So also the function is important. What is very often a problem is to work with a size that it's right, so that it's not covering maybe too much our camera when we are so to scale your objects, scale the content you put in. We will see, for example, today how to do some of this stuff. But yeah, it's not just always like the bigger is better, although like the bigger size it's more intense for sure, and smaller size usually is more kind of a good, like on a reference point, good for showing informations or just things that are more static. While maybe this kind of the bigger and change in the size can be good also for having an impact on the audience. I did work for with the augmented reality, doing kind of comic, and which was done in 3D, and then I did the print, and basically on the prints I could see my characters. I had to do a custom marker because a lot of augmented reality web-based things are based on markers, and we will see that why. And yeah, I worked basically on this comic thanks to the image recognition. So the recognition, for example, of a print that you do or of an image. That was also part of the comic. So what I was doing was transmedia storytelling when I was passing from a like physical. You can do it also like with posters or yeah, with the band posters. You know, it comes to my mind like with if you have or any kind of picture that it's kind of more like HD quality, you can use it and on top put something of in augmented, which is nice because it's creating a relation and also kind of a continuing extended story with this physical printed. And a lot of magazines, for example, are using it. And a lot of, I mean, printed, yeah, like they're even like adding music or sound, so you can have like a poster. It could be like a nice idea to have, yeah, a poster or an image, and when going augmented, you can hear, for example, the sound or a music going on. Here it's kind of like last part before we started the workshop, and it was a example I found, and I think it kind of like older, but I really like the way that put it, like how from the real environment we're going to the extreme of the virtual, and then in the end we are like finishing again into this augmented, that's for real, like in the middle. So we are now in this middle field, and what is like last thing to say is that we have the spectator, which is also the user actually, and he's living a narrative or the experience as a dynamic process. So we must forget just to think in terms of linear stories that someone is telling us. And it's more kind of living that story. So living a place instead of having a description of a place, living the sounds of that place. Or for example, yeah, if we have like a poster or image, and if we go like we can hear now the sounds of that. So use also other like stimulus that can be like the sound sonic ones, and which is super nice because you can have like a picture, and if you turn on augmented reality, you can, for example, hear what people in these pictures are saying, or what it's you like sounding the environment around them, or you just, yeah, put music on top of it, and in that way you create a correlation between an image, a printed image, yeah, as I said, a poster, or a magazine, or just like a photograph, and a sound that are reflecting these. So what we had before in a screen, and it was all together. Now, for example, we have it on two different mediums, like printed and physical, and in our phone where we hear the music from, but we are holding the picture, or we are seeing the poster on the wall. So it's kind of melting these two realities together. And this is what is augmented narration. It's going continuously between one point and to the other, between the digital to the physical. Although sometimes we can just choose to interact with, like to simulate a kind of virtual environment in the physical, without any kind of preference, but it's up to us. And here, I would start to see a bit about like the workshop. There are interesting things that can be used also like from online. And the last time I showed this Sketchfab repository, which definitely we will also use it today. And I warmly suggest you like to have it in mind, because it's always updated and it has a lot of different styles, and you even have like photogrammetry, so it's more, you can have even like more kind of less digital feeling in the sense of more realistic. So it's all the aesthetics are present. So also for this reason, it's pretty nice, and a lot of Creative Commons are just like in commercial derivatory like direction. So you basically can do whatever you want, just maybe changing some stuff a bit. And today we will work with the Glitch. We will see it online repository. Yeah, maybe you have to sign in. It was the only one thing I realized, but I think I also have to do it like with Google. And Glitch is very nice because you can integrate all these augmented and web experiences in your website without having these problems about this SSL certificate, which is basically kind of data protection thing that if you go to put it like in other places, like more like private websites, you must like buy these certificates, so like your website is kind of safe because it's asking you, the other people, to put the camera on. So every time someone like a website asks us to put our webcam on, it must be like a secure, of course, website. And to have a secure website, like we can just use this glitch.com, which it's also an open source repository, and we can see like as well other projects of other people, and there are also some presets that are nice to explore and to like change as we like. So it's kind of like open source and repository, but we will also like work in it before exporting. And augmented reality on the web, it started with being like to know a bit like a history of augmented reality on a technical level. You had to have some markers that the marker is like a QR code, but it's more simple. It's kind of, it has, let me see if I have some other examples. Because I was doing some also like myself that I did, but I'm not sure if we will cover it. Yeah, for example, I did it in the when I was doing the comic. So I had to do like really simple. Yeah, here. And it was kind of just a silhouette of my character, but it was working. I mean, I had just to try, and I work in Photoshop with the shapes. And it was, yeah, this one. so yeah, basically I took my characters, I made them like in stencil mode, and I put these markers that once the camera went on them, like the QR code, you were able to see the my characters like popping up and like music and stuff. This was like a longer time ago, because for web you don't need like to download an app, right? So it's very nice when like you are asking people to do your experience, but they don't have to download anything. I mean, it's the best way, because not everybody is willing. The phone can be too much full, or just like the way when we do that, it's for bigger exhibitions or more serious events, but for very often for personal or for easy accessible events, experiences, maybe just happening once or stuff like that, it's better to have a web-based AR. But until a few time, like 1 year ago, neither, you had to basically have these markers to make it work. While now we can as well work on pictures and work on location based. So what it's good to know is that we don't need anymore these markers, but it was like the main way that we like used to have for working with the augmented reality and web. So let's go to this to the glitch. I have just to log in. And now, I mean, did you manage to do the login? I mean, just like with it should be just with your and I will share you this thing now. So what you will find here is that you have basically your own kind of profile that where you can like do a new project, or you can like explore a bit what the other people have done. Here there is like a search option, but a lot of stuff, for example, if you put VR, AR, there are a lot of users and a lot of projects from them that are all open. So you can basically find a lot of stuff that you may need, but it's asking also a bit of research from your part. And there are as well some kind of already done projects. And what is super cool is that you can open these projects and you just can remix them. It's like the term they are using for just telling that you keep everything, like the structure, the code and everything, and you just put your elements like that you want in there. So it's kind of big playground where you can just like go inside and see what you can do. What we will be working on today in particularly is A-Frame. You can go on A-Frame And Upframe, it's a framework for web that is allowing us to do very easily like 3D augmented and virtual experiences, which is totally kind of interesting because you don't have to spend like, you don't have to be a programmer first, nor you have to be like a game developer, and you can just like, then once you have done, use it like anywhere because it's web-based. And how it's working, if you go like on examples, you will find like this hello web VR that you can put, if you put your 3D objects and you go like this, you're basically like in a 360 environment. But if you pick up your phone and go to the same like site with it, you then realize kind of why it's kind of interesting and important. You have also the option AR that is showing only when you use now with the mobile. So Upframe. It's yeah, it's basically like you're seeing this, but in your environment. I mean, you have to like use it on your phones, just like to understand. And you can switch on this part from VR to AR, and it's just locating these elements in front of you, which is amazing. When you don't need any app, you don't need any like kind of a third part stuff. It's just like there. And believe me, for augmented reality, it was a huge step forward, because you need just like Unity or Unreal and external and download apps to experience properly, usually augmented reality in space without markers. And today we will see how to work first with markers and then without. And I will handle you as well some compositions to where you can replace then the objects with yours. Upframe, it's in a sense a library where you just have a basic structure, and then in the middle you put all the components that you want, and you and for example, you just change the aesthetic of the elements. I'm now on the examples, and like this one of the example, which I like a lot because I love Vaporwave a lot, and I was super much into that years ago. And you see, you can just like if you go, you're in the middle of a game, I mean, it's super amazing. Going with the arrows, so if you use your arrows, you can just explore and just you find yourself, and if you drag, you're under. It's nice, and it's on web. It's not like you don't need, and you can also use it in this mode, which is a cardboard headset. Which means that if you are if you buy Google Cardboard or any kind of 360 for smartphones visors, if you put it with and you put your phone inside this and you click on this mode, it's not anymore 360, but it's properly like VR, because the image it's kind of splitting. Yeah, now it's problematic like to put, but it's basically like giving you a proper like 360 with your head like immersed, so like with And on the mobile, it's pretty also nice to see this stuff. It's totally 360, and you can just go like up your head with that, and on the web it's very nice as well. So you can, for example, integrate a project like this on the website. Okay, this is aesthetically less appealing than the other one, but it's showing us that we can also deal with real environments and 360 pictures. So we can situate it like in I mean, put also like use it in other contexts that are not totally just fictional. And there is an example similar that with Widow that I really like. For example, all these things that we are seeing is open code, so it means that you can duplicate on your own page and then just like switch the elements. These slides, I would suggest you like to check out a bit, because they have this feeling of animation. It's just lights moving, you know, but it's already something also in an emotional and narrative sense. For example, from a directing point of view, if you, it's an element that it's giving an atmosphere. It's something that it's like less graphic and less cold and more atmospheric, for example. And there is as well like the source code of this one. I think here they use mostly like generating kind of shapes, but you can as well put like 3D elements inside or pictures.
Sorry, a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said, but is this something that you import to Glitch, or is it something that you can play around with here and like change the elements?
Yeah, you can import in Glitch and play around with that. I mean, you will have always like a visual reference, so you can always see what you're doing. So every time you update or show, it shows you like what you have done. But we are working in Glitch because we need a place to store our content. So for example, you have your own 3D or your own pictures or stuff, and somewhere this content must be uploaded. And you can upload, for example, on your personal website and then work as proper, like using this code as a coder in Sublime or text editor or stuff. But it's way more easier to do all this in a Glitch because it has already like super set it up framework with all the just things to just fill in, and you can there upload your assets. And because on iframe you cannot, it's just more a library. So it's a library where you copy the code from and then you pass it into your Glitch project. Yeah, I was clicking on this one, but let's see, it's kind of I think it's more kind of a game experience, more complex, I think. I don't know. Yeah, it's more complex. There is, you can see user interface and stuff. This almost like creating VR websites, you know, like with the user interface, and but it's more kind of advanced as approach. Though you can see you can have these elements that are informational as well. And yeah, they have integrated and a lot of kind of plugins and stuff. There is this painter, which I never used, but you can see what it's about. It's kind of a brush, kill brush and stuff. And but the most like common ones are these on the left, with the kind of most basic, but good to start from, because it's you learn how to think about, and then it's easy to add anything you want and to create like the Moon Rider. But you know, like from this one, once you understood how this one is made, then you just add the other components from the library inside, and you get like a more complex environment. It's a pretty nice website, in the sense that they are updating it very often. It's powered as well by Mozilla, so it's something I think you have been already explored. And it's both used for virtual and for augmented experiences. What, for example, it's do you mean like the virtual? It's both 360, which is nice for the phone, so you can make a 360 environment, as we have seen that one, and can have it like on the phone, and we don't have to need the headset to go into the headset. So a lot of people, it's kind of scared when someone is telling kind of VR, because nowadays VR, it's used both to speak about 360 and both to speak about proper VR. But you can use this frame just to make like 360 videos or a 360 website, and use it in a mobile, just like with the 360, integrating in the on other platforms or websites. So it's kind of it's nice on that part, and it's not something that has to go like super cutting edge technology, but also allows you to put the cardboard and to act as you are totally immersed. I would suggest you like to have always this site open, like, because it's explaining really like well everything, and it's kind of is showing like a lot of things that maybe you want to also apply, or you want to maybe have, and you can just search here on the left, you will find a lot of things. And especially here on the left, we have got this, which is like the components that you may want to put inside, and you then just have to copy paste like the component, and you can find video, text, then the most common like sphere and stuff. Because once you learn like the basic scene, you can just add these elements inside. So here you have like the library, and here it's telling you how as well this stuff is working, but it's kind of more in depth. Sometimes you just need really to copy paste these two codes, and all the rest it's more kind of yeah, it will work just with this stuff copy paste. And here just like more kind of theory or more advanced things. So we will not be like bothered by that. And what you will find on the blog, on the blog post, if you go on iframe blog, image tracking and location, which is what it's also interesting glass for our today's workshop, and also for you to have as a reference when working. So I have these 2 pages. I mean, I will link you the like general site with the docs and examples, and then this page from the blog, because actually it's a kind of a small tutorial with just like a few steps that you have to copy paste. But it's properly like for augmented, and it's super new. It's from this year. Because these features were not available until like 1 year ago. They were not available. You could only work with the markers. Well, now you can work both like with the image, as we see here, with the marker, for example, or with the location. So we can, for example, start with actually, I want you to have my repositories also like if you go here and you search for apps, users, and people, if you go here for this is my like repository where I have been preparing some projects for you, and some of these like I have to explain like how they are working, and I may add the one with the AR location. But if you go to the like first page, third.
Sorry, I think I missed what you searched for.
Yeah.
Oh, is it up in the browser?
Yeah, it's like Futura and then Eva normal, like this. Futura, Eva. And then it's my reference profile when you can find all the already like assets that I prepared that I think that you might like, and you can be like useful. They are both from VR and AR, and some of them are more kind of like basic, while some other are more a bit more complex. We can, for example, enter these it was the asset. I have just to find it. So what will happen when we click on a project? This project is opening us a thing like this. It may ask for the camera if it's an augmented reality project. So here I'm showing you that like how this glitch, that it's an open like a repository with already done project inside, is working, and how it's like the basic structure. So if you go on someone else and you, for example, like it, or you like the structure, or you want to use this mine as a like reference, you will find the camera when it's an AR, and when it's VR, it will just like appear normally. I have maybe to see how it's going. Yeah, because I have to put off the video here. Just a second on Zoom. And okay. It's yeah, you're seeing the writing. So let's see if it's working now, because the webcam cannot go like on two parts. It has just to be one. So okay, it's taking me. And now, like, this project was based with a marker. So it was done using a marker, as it was like the first like way of approaching the, and it's actually working on, yeah. It has too much light, just a second. On mobile better, because of course it has to be like from mobile. And basically what is happening is that when you have a marker and you have your mobile phone, now we are doing the inverse. Instead of we are basically like showing like an object and rotating it and like going towards it. And when we walk, for example, it gets yeah, it gets bigger, or the position is changed. And there was also one but for, and here, for example, I was just like writing the text, and then the text it was just like not an image, but a proper text written. So it can switch between 3D objects, then image, and then like also GIF, because you can, for example, GIF. Yeah, I have to. And yeah, when you're from mobile, it's a bit more kind of easier to do this. But it's kind of, you know, just like working. For example, this GIF I was using on the Jiffy. That it's also kind of a repository. And I was just searching for, yeah, pattern. Or you can make your own in Photoshop, which is also, it also can be kind of a good idea. But yeah, I can take like anything. What I need is to have like the position to embed. And now we will see like one by one how to do this. This is more for a kind of a VR, and I found this that I think you also can kind of use with switching elements, because you can put, you know, a lot of stuff inside, and it's working also on mobile, and it's more kind of
Can I pop in with a question?
yeah, sure.
So these ones that you have made, like the presets, we can remake them, and like down, is that down there where it says remix your own or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
And then if we would want to use this for the museum, would it be like a code that sorry, would it be like a code that we would put in the website, or would you have to link it to Glitch or something like that?
It's like an embed code that it's referencing to Glitch, but
Okay.
there is an entire part on how you can actually on Glitch.
Just wondering, like, if it would be possible to like put that directly on that website.
You will have to integrate in the website, importing and exporting. So it's kind of, you have to embed it in the but you know what, it's basically, if you think these kind of things, it's more kind of an image and experience, just like a window, no? So it's or are just like web pages that you have to add, but it's not difficult in the sense that you can just embed them, and you don't need to, you can embed them even in a blog. A lot of people it's using this with Medium, which is a blog. So there is, it was made to be very easily exported and integrated in third-party websites. So it's not that you have to build nothing, you know. Once you have like done here, and they have offered you like everything from this kind of super like tutoring approach, then also the export part, just like an integration and not like code from scratch. It's yeah, on the help center there is this thing about exporting and how you can embed. Actually, there was an article about Glitch export embed. I remember it was they spoke about Medium, and it was kind of I mean, I will give you the literature and the references also for this thing, but they have made it like, you know, just like this. It's made because people usually, when they're using Glitch, they're not programmers, but they work with these remixes. And so the expert part is easy because usually a proper programmer would be working on another patch. So also the expert is part of the cool Glitch feature. Anyway, I can we can also you can also like write me if you have like to embed something and to put on the website, and I can give you like directions or stuff in the sense that we just like integrate it and make it work. It's not a problem. And yeah, like you can, I will just duplicate it because I want to see both this and to have like mine. And to go to a new project, for example, and go to hello web page. So now with create project, our new project is creating. It needs some time, so it's a written loading project, although it's not actually loading anything, it's loading the structure of the project. And what we find here is that here there is like a short thing that says like hello, and we have just few elements on the left, and we will work with these few elements, sometimes just with this and this. This is the main thing that where we will just have to like replace this code, copy paste here in the index. So on the left, we can find all our web project, both for augmented and both for virtual reality, which is amazing if you think. In the assets, we will place, if there are any, our 3D objects, our GIFs, or we can also use them from internet, our sounds, and anything that it's a multimedia element. So it's a folder. So assets is basically when you click in it, it's a folder, and it's telling me no assets yet because I have to upload an asset if I want one, or I have to drag and drop it here. Then this is nothing important. This is like just a readme, but this is our main code where we will be working in the pasting. And sometimes we will need this, but just copy paste when somewhere else there is this like a JSON file and a CSS file. A CSS file is usually for like telling to the like main, like the style of something, for example, the font or something like that. But we will never work much on this one, these two. We will mainly work on the index, just like so everything is reducing on the index, the assets, and that's it basically. When we create this project, so we find ourselves here, and we can go on show. And let's go show in a new window, for example. We just see that here we have like a page where there is this text, because we didn't put anything more in the code, you know, it was just like this. And we have another way of approaching it with show. And if you click here on the drop down menu, we can find next to the code. So it will show us our project here on the right, which is more kind of easy to work because we can just see like exactly what we are doing and how is that changing. So it's not that we have to refresh every time. And one feature that we have to remember with glitch, and it's pretty important, is that is auto saving constant things, so we don't need to save. But at the same time, like if for example we must pay attention not to cancel like too much stuff. because there are some like problems going back constantly, you know. So it's a kind of we don't have to like to run fast. I mean, it's this mainly. And now we can go back to our frame. And when it's telling us about build a basic scene, like let's do that. And then we will go more and more into complex stuff, and I will show you like how to change other things using external links and how to upload your things. But it's a good reference to have at least something, you know, like from always open for the structure. So we have to copy paste this and close everything there. We have to cancel all this in our index. Just cancel and paste here this first step. Then we have to copy paste what we have done here. This first part, it's just like building the page, imagining like the page of the website or the structure of a room, like the walls. So it's like everything that it's the structure, but it's not the content, nor it's divided. We don't have elements inside this. Now we're going to put our kind of entities, our elements, inside the scene. So we can see that we have already in our code this as scene, right? So when we copy from here, actually we don't need to put it again. It depends like how we want to work, but like just let's do like just like this. Then we can go and copy paste this. And basically what we are doing now, we are just defining like what are our elements in our scene. So what we see here, it's like this. We imagine that the body, it's our room or our like blank page. So now we have a place to work on. And then we start adding elements in this place that is called scene. Everything that is going inside scene, it's going to be shown. So we have to put everything we want to see inside the scene. And we're starting putting a box. It's already defined. For example, while when we will work with 3D, we will have to say that we are working with the object or with we will define another element. And then we will tell the code where to take it, or where, for example, take it from the assets where we upload it, or just we can just use a link. But basic primitives and shapes you will always find usually in computer graphics and 3D already defined, like a sphere. So if you put, I will show you. And just a second, something is popping up on the right? Yeah. Just
Um,
like,
Pebbles. I think someone's in the waiting room.
oh, I can, yeah, I can.
Could you just, sorry, repeat where, like, I can find where I find the live view of everything on the side?
Yeah, sure. So on
Thank you.
show, you can go in a new window, or you can go next to the code.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we are next to the code right now. And yeah, what it's, in my opinion, like sometimes you cannot go in this next to the code because it's reducing a lot your space where you're working. But for starting the project and seeing if you know, the things are right, it's like let's start every time with the next to the code, and then when we have to fine tune and then to see like the proper final image, we go back into a new window, which will like just open next to it. But we are not ready with the code, so but we are still like for now seeing our first thing, and it's kind of moving. And also now if we go later, we will try to go on our mobile phones, and there is already a thing we can experience it. Let's go back to the our frame, and let's put this sphere, and we will see why, because we want to get it, you know, more complex. Oh no, it's closed. Okay. We want to get it more complex, so we are continuing adding like elements. Just make sure we are putting in the right place. So after box, so we have to pay attention where it's put, like our code. In the sense, I will show you, we cannot have like repeated like the same thing. There is only kind of one scene, and the thing that we have to do now is to parent another element, which is a sphere, to our box. What does it mean? That in coding, and generally like also node-based environments, like it was PyCar, we have a hierarchy. And this is also good to know for you, like for any kind of these interactive softwares in the future. You will find this kind of a parent and children, which means that one element, it's giving to the others the directions or where to be positioned, for example. And so it's actually helping us not to do a lot of work, because we want maybe to have one main element and then all the others that are following this one, so they can stick to this one, and we don't have to put every time the position up, because maybe they go together, you know. If they don't go together, we don't bother, and we put it as a separate, so at the same level. But if we are putting it as a child, so that it follows for example, the rotation and everything our red box is doing, then I have to take this my sphere, the sphere element. I mean, we can recognize it, it's simple, and we have to put it inside the box, because in the box we have also the position and like rotation and stuff that will define some of these of the sphere. So everything that goes inside the brackets of an element, that it's always opened and closed, it's lower in hierarchy, and it's following the most important is the scene. In my scene, I put my box. my box is followed by a sphere. So here, for example, I did a thing that it was not good, and I put my sphere under the box. In this case, probably the sphere is at the same level, but I have to define a scale and a rotation. We will see it later. But for now, like, let's go here in the middle between. Pay always a lot of attention on these brackets and just past. And now we see that it's exactly like where it should have been. And now we have to place also a box in front of the camera. No, here that we did that. Oh yeah, we have to do this still. No, actually it's done. If we continue going here, we will see that we have like a head thing going on. And actually our head thing is already present, but it has only one script. What does it mean? Scripts are recalling the libraries. So this script is recalling the iframe library. And I must have it here if I wanted my box to appear or anything that it's then taken from a frame. And if I want to put other things from the environment component, for example, adding the environment, we see that we have the head, we have the script with the frame already, otherwise would not work neither. And we just have to take this environment script and we must add it here.
So, are you only, sorry, are you only taking one of those?
Yeah,
then?
because I already had this one. I mean, you can also like duplicate it, but you will see that it's a duplicate, you know. So because every time I will also show you a faster way. There is a very nice kind of 10-step tutorial that it's also kind of simple, more simple. But if you will mess up with things, you will probably have like to take from the library elements, and they will show again like all with sometimes when with already like embedded in a scene, and you will not need this, you know, because you already have the scene or you have the head and the other script. So I'm just taking like the one I don't have, and now I saw that I have a frame, and I'm just taking this script here, copy paste. Which is this one. So now I have, as they are telling me, two scripts in the head. I go back and I see in my head, I have the script. It's just like being very like attentive to like what are the elements, because everything is small when doing But actually, this is not even programming. This is more kind of yes, scripting and playing with the already done components. So we just have to be tidy in a workflow and to understand like a bit what is going on. Now it's telling us to add an entity with the environment component attached, because we had the script for the environment, but we lack the environment in our scene. We have already the box, right? So we don't need it. We have already our scene. We have set it up everything, but we don't have the environment. And yeah, it's nice because when you find these are called comments and are gray, light gray, and are with these kind of exclamation marks. And the comments are telling us what is happening in the code, or what to do, or what maybe we have to pay attention to. So our environment entity, it's out of the box, because on a hierarchy level, it's at the same level. They have to go together. While the sphere was inside, now out of the box. So when the box is closed, you know, we put our entity, and the environment have appeared, and we have also our sphere here, which is super nice. Now we're moving like in a 360 proper, like in a VR environment that is starting like building. And when I will be moving like in the future, this small sphere will be following this red box. But for now, well, I'm moving everything. So I have like static elements and my environment. We will also try it soon now on the phones, just to see how it's applying an image texture. For example, you can do also one thing that it's work in Photoshop. Do your textures for the project, and then apply them onto more like 3D objects of any kind, like from human shapes to, I don't know, to like more like classical geometries. And usually all 3D elements have a texture, so it's important to us to state that texture. We have our box, right? So we are ignoring. But no, we are now noticing actually that inside our box there is this thing that we'll copy past, because we have everything else. If we go to see our box, we have actually 2 boxes. Okay. If we go to our box, we see that we have the color of the box, the rotation of the box. These are the variables of the box that we change, and our box changes. So usually you will be playing with these variables and you will be stating how they must look like. Now I just add this thing that it's making state that my box has this texture here, you know, instead of red. And if I will have again just a plain color. If I put it back, and We can take, for example, also an external image. We can see like pattern. And if I go to if I copy the link of the image, it should work in my instead of this because it's on the web already. Let's see if it was, but it must end with JPEG. I have to see if it's, no, it's too long. But with anything, yeah, maybe it's just like too big. But usually if you take uploaded already, like kind of uploaded image, it should work with any, you know. This is just a link for image reference for a path. So it's not a particular texture, just that this texture is stored here. So I think it's a size problem because this image is really big. And also this one, I don't know, usually they're small and now they're like kind of. This way it's better kind of working with your own images, then you upload it to the assets, and then you just put it like here you state yeah, now it's working, you see, because it's smaller. And there is this color red that I don't want because it's on top. Yeah, and I have pineapples from the internet. So if you go basically on you can both upload, or you can go and just search for an image, and then on the image maybe pay attention that it's, you know, like not over 100, smaller it's better, 5,000, or like maybe this is too big. You can try. Just basically you have to like copy paste the address of the image. And you can be sure about it because you copy it, you go into a new tab, you paste, and you see that it's your image because it's stored here on the internet on this exact address. And I want this address. So once you're sure that this is right and this is not too big, this may be, you copy it and then you put it like here. Or you just, yeah, I don't know, upload it from the assets, see if it's from your Photoshop. Yeah, it's working even with this one. Cool. And now we have like a texture, and this is management system. There is also a sky color here. Yeah, here it's telling us this is also like an important part. And now I will tell you one nice thing. Now that we finish this part and we are already like actually at a good point, it's the same for AR and for VR. So it's the same way of dealing with elements. So you can just then create both of them. It's I want to open it just to show here. There is also my ugly sphere, but let's put maybe also in a sphere a pattern, and I do the same. I copy paste this copy, and I go to the sphere, and before position, I passed. You see? where is my sphere? It should have, yeah, the pattern as well, because it just like I'm just defining like with this, like what are the variables of my 3D elements. So what is the texture, what is the rotation, what is the scale? For example, I find this cube too big, so I will put the scale like 1, 1, 1, and it will go smaller. You will have to play a lot with the scale, as well as we have seen in but now it's kind of too small. And plus I have also another box that is going out. Okay, yeah, the first thing that we have put was we can take it out, because it's kind of a different way of doing like the same thing. But anyway, I will handle you the script, so we'll have just like to replace things as I'm now replacing, you know, the patterns and adding. So if I see that, for example, my box it's too big or too small, I just go here and I can make, for example, my sphere bigger, and I go and copy paste scale. Especially for augmented reality, this is a must know point, the scale, rotation, position, because it may be too big on the screens when you are, for example, when it's in front of you, and the position as well, maybe it's too up your heads, you know. So you just like put it a little bit down, or play with these variables, and then it's working. Now we have a bigger sphere. And basically everything that is here after my element is defining it. And I'm telling the code like where to position it, and what is the scale, and for example the rotation, but I mean, it doesn't matter. And with this we can then also animate and do stuff. Let's see how it's on a full screen. Okay, yeah, it's already kind of an environment. And then now let's see how to use our assets. To use the assets, for example, for an image texture, what I was telling you, like from Photoshop, we have to add this thing to the scene. We don't have it. We can add it immediately after a scene, just like let's copy paste, before the boxes. And let's see. Now I should have from the assets this texture that it's coming from an external path. What they are actually meaning, and what we need to do, is to have here things from here, because we already have like we already have these like external links, so we don't need them. I don't know why they complicate it here a bit. It's more like simple actually. Anyway, we will see like later because I have already projects with the asset integrated inside and things like done. So because we don't have so much time, so I just for that prepared everything. So after this first simple scene, we will gonna analyze the more complex ones, kind of. And we can just add also like a ground. And apply image texture to the ground. In this case, because they are they're suggesting to do this. So now we have like a plane that it's seen on scene. Maybe the width, the height should be higher. But if we have like, for example, already the environment, we don't need a ground. We will need just like or the plane or the rotation. So they're kind of duplicating here a bit the things. Just let's see one thing. Yeah, exactly. If I cancel my environment, now I see that putting a plane here, it totally makes sense. You see? Because either or I have like an entire environment or a plane. I mean, I can have both, but usually it's kind of used for like different purposes. What they did here, it's kind of putting in the assets all these external references for the elements. So we now have like a plane, box, sphere, which are our elements that we're seeing.